Uh, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Today I will go to talk about Apple. So, guys, why I choose to talk about Apple today? Reason number one: Apple is pumping. Yesterday, Apple closed 231, but when you see on post market right now, which is 234, so I will go to talk about the charts about the Apple. But one thing I would like to tell you, I want to play what Tom Lee say, and then I will go to talk about the Apples, because like here I can highlight it, and Apple on weekly. In fact, I pull on weekly. Apple here is trading above the moving average. Like Apple on weekly didn't break like is above moving average, which is very bullish, and we are targeting Apple to break today all-time high, which it was around 231. Remember, this is the weekly chart, and because now we want to bring the daily, because the daily I did a video when today one day ago about the stocks you should buy, and it was Apple. Yesterday, Apple signaling serious buy, like, or you can call on Thursday last week, but yesterday he pushed with these candles, and we are expecting more on Apple on the daily. So we are going to see it is above 226. This thing is going to rocket, and always we are going to watch on also on weekly and daily on Poil Pant on weekly. We are going to see resistance, which is going to come this week 238, because, and again on daily Upper Panda is talking about 233, but this thing is going to push this stock all the way to somewhere here, and because everything already started, it's going to push 238 somewhere here, and then go to push, because we have this buying opportunity is signaling on daily on Apple on Wednesday, September 18th. Okay, September 18th, and right now we are on October 15th, October maybe called 15th. Yeah, called 15th. So yeah, this thing has already signaled in last 2 weeks, and it was buying the dip just on Friday. It closes upper pant on Poil Pant. Let me show you. And before, yeah, you see, this is the move which is going to happen, guys. Is very huge. It's going to push at the end of the week. We are going to call above 240 and above. Let me play what Tom Lee was talking about recent interview on CNBX.
Your future is at your fingertips. Take advantage of the flexibility and diversity of futures trading with NinjaTrader, the #1 rated futures broker. Start trading futures.
Okay, sorry about that, but let's jump in.
Let's get to the markets. Following last week's inflation data, Tom Lee's here, managing partner and head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. Tom, in recent appearances, I would say that your conviction hasn't necessarily been quite as strong as it had been in some of your other calls, where there's been a time where you said the inflation data will be so good that the S&P will be up 200 points in the next week, and it panned out, and it played right into what you were saying. The last time you were on, I think your basic thesis was that market's still solid through the end of the year, but in the meantime, there could be some volatility and maybe even a pullback. Now I think you're saying it's been more stable than what you're expecting, and it has to do with liquidity and cash on the sidelines more than anything else.
Yes, that's right. You're right. We've kind of been sort of, I think, fooled by seasonality, because we thought markets would be hesitant before, the elections, and it's October, but we've seen this market be incredibly resilient. So I've underestimated how strong this market's been. I think it really shows macro data is becoming less important, and it's now the fact that last 2 years, investors expected a recession, or many thought when the curve uninverts, we got a recession. But at the end of the day, there's $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines, and October has turned out to be a great month.
We've seen it, evidence of what you're saying, and I know how closely you watch it. We've seen it on a daily basis over the last, I'd say, maybe month or so, where many days we're even down triple digits in the futures, only to end up 250 or 300 points by the end of the session, and with no backdrop of positive news, nothing to account for it, other than it seems like there's money on the sidelines.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like investors are underinvested in stocks. I think there's people who've dreaded 2024, thinking this is the year we slip into a recession, and instead, and we're seeing it with earnings, companies have been really resilient.
Yeah, we waited to retest the lows a couple of times in 2022 and 2023, and people weren't bullish at all. We didn't get great advances, and now it's almost unstoppable, and nothing seems to be able to knock it off of track. Whether it's, I mean, I think the PPI and CPI were both a little hotter than people thought. The prospects for a Fed continued easing cycle are now open to some conjecture, I think, although most people say it's still going to happen, even though things are pretty solid in both the economy and the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense for the Fed to be dovish, just because inflation is still tracking, especially PCE, towards their 2% target, and now we have some concerns about the job market, so I think the Fed has to be supportive, and I think this election, which is becoming less of a coin toss, I think because it's been a coin toss, people have been sitting on their hands. I think these are reasons markets are starting to have conviction, even in front of an election event.
I think we've soft pedaled it too. The swing states have even some of the swing states that looked like solidly in Harris's camp are now truly swing states where Trump's up, in Michigan and Wisconsin, and betting and everything else. And you know, if NBC goes from Trump up, or from Harris up 5 to Trump and Harris tied, and then you do a full field and Trump's actually up in a full field thing. So I think you might be right. Bitcoin's at 65,000. You wouldn't say that the stock market's performing better because it's starting to look like it's less of a coin toss, would you?
I think markets like visibility.